Hello and welcome to SKANS Ecampus live with staying motivated in current times, which is going to be the topic for today. I'm your host, Bilal Siddiqui. I am leading the product management team in SKANS Ecampus. And today we have our honorable guest with us, Frank Fabel from the Empacta organization. And he is the Secretary General there. And he's also heading another project by the name of Flying Accounting University, which works under the Empacta group. So, Frank, how are you?
Thank you. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am good. I'm good. So, this session that we have arranged today is going to be covering one of the most important questions that we have today. That how do we find motivation in times like these, where the whole world has been affected by a pandemic so great, and how it has changed our lives, how it has impacted, more specifically, education, and how it has impacted the students, how it has impacted the tutors, how it has impacted organizations over the world, and what are the benefits that have derived from this, and what are the
Okay.
shortcomings of this whole thing that has been created in the world. And we'll be going over this session. And if you have any questions during the session, you can put forth in the comments, and we'll be taking them as we receive them. If we do have a relevant section coming on later, then we will be able to take your question later. But rest assured that your question will be taken and it will be answered by Mr. Frank or by myself. And without a further ado, we'll move on to Frank about just asking about how his life has changed, because he has joined us from Germany, and things are different here in Pakistan and different here in European region. So let's go to Frank and have a quick run-up of how his life has changed in COVID times and how it has been going on and what are its impacts. So over to you, Frank.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Bilal.
Hmm.
I'm a certified public accountant, a chartered accountant. I'm running an audit firm, Empacta Germany. We are a licensee of the association Empacta. As you said, at the moment, I'm serving as Secretary General of this association. Yes, it changed a lot. My life changed a lot. I was traveling the world all the time in airplanes, and this is gone. Now I'm sitting in my home office. You see here my home office in the background. And I'm still in contact with all the auditors around the world, but now not face to face, only through the electronics, through the wire. It changed a lot. Yeah, we by accident I also entered the world of e-learning. It was purely accidental. I must tell you this short story. A year ago, our association had its general assembly, and we had a bad conscience, you can say. We were feeling very bad that we were traveling so much around the globe. Our carbon dioxide balance is tremendous, and our idea we should do something about this. So we founded at this time the Flying Accounting University a year ago. And what we did not know was that COVID-19 appeared on the screen. So this was a boost to these activities. Now the Flying University it's very active. Every week there are sessions, and this is how we came into contact. Yeah, so this was the first encounter. We talked the first time about the problems of motivation. Yeah.
So you mentioned Flying Accounting University. So if you can just give a brief outlook of when it was created, was it created completely incidental to the public?
Yeah,
And
yes. I
what
mean,
was
the
the thesis?
motivation was, the motivation was to bring down our carbon dioxide balances. But then it turned out that it is a tool also in this crisis. Yes,
Mhm.
at the moment, to say a few words about, if you allow me,
Mhm.
a few words about this, it
Mhm.
is a university with the aim to explore the social dimension of accounting. We see accounting as a human science, and we
Mhm.
try to explore the history of accounting,
Mhm.
the political context. We try to teach it as a human science. Yeah.
Hmm. Right, right. Okay. So if we move on to our motivation for this session, particularly, and what this topic is about. So recently, ACCA students, which is our main audience, recently gave their exams, and some of them were able to give their exams. Some had technical issues even while giving the exam. Some didn't opt for the exam at all because they were so frustrated, or they were so, you can say, they didn't know or were frightened from giving an online exam. So they canceled it altogether, and they are just waiting right now for the things to go back to normal, and for the different, you can say, uh, exam centers to open back up. And they don't want to risk, or they don't have this experience, or this, they still have this fright of learning online. So because they did not learn online, they are not ready to give the papers. So this is the condition. And some of them who did give their papers, they did get the results, and they were not satisfied with the results because of the preparation and the issues that they had faced. So these are the general problems that the ACCA students currently have. And even many students of Ecampus, they did take the classes, but they were not motivated enough, or they were not prepared enough to appear in the exams. So Frank, if you can just quickly give an overview of what you think about this problem.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I cannot distance myself from these problems.
Mhm.
I'm a father of four. My children are also suffering from this.
Mhm.
They must learn online, and
Mhm.
the result is, as you described, very, very similar. My oldest daughter is studying medicine. How you can become a good doctor if you are not in touch with your patients?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not possible. Yeah.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
second daughter is studying politics. She is simply angry about this distance that she cannot discuss
Mhm.
directly.
Mhm.
My
Mhm.
youngest son is 15. He is a IT boy. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, he is making all the time cynical jokes about teachers who do not understand how to use the IT tools.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you see this, but everything is covered with a layer of tristesse, of depression. And
Mhm.
this is I mean, it's not only the online learning.
Mhm.
To say the truth, it is deeper. Yeah. Uh,
Mhm.
I do not, at the moment, I'm not updated. I was the last time in Pakistan a year ago.
Mhm.
Here in Europe, we have at the moment, it's not only a depression of the soul, it is also a depression in the economy. I mean, you
Mhm.
must understand this. Our economy in 2020, it's down for 7.4%.
Mhm.
It's not evenly.
Mhm.
Some sectors are booming. Yeah. So, for instance,
Mhm.
online learning is booming. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the bureaucratic sector is not affected at all. This is going on as always. Yeah.
Mhm.
Same
Mhm.
also with accounting. But other sectors are heavily affected.
Mhm.
Manufacturing is down by double digits. The
Mhm.
whole culture industry is simply extinguished. Yeah,
Mhm.
so this is catastrophic.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
at the same time, there is a deep doubt whether we should or whether we can return to the growth path in the
Mhm.
future. This has changed. It has
Mhm.
changed a lot. If we talk about the depression in e-learning, we touch only the surface. It's much
Mhm.
deeper, I would say.
Yes.
And if I talk with my children, We talk a lot about how we see the future. There is doubt what the future will bring, and there is doubt whether the future will be bright. I think this is the slogan of your university, yeah, creating a bright future, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah.
So we have a small question from Afaf. What's the best way to manage the distractions at home with work and study commitments? So this is the prime question because you are working from your home office. So how do you manage this?
Yes, I'm struggling with this. I'm lucky that I can close the door if I'm here in this area. So, my way out is that I'm lucky that I can work early in the morning. I stand up before the others stand up, and then I have 3-4 hours where I'm simply alone. Yeah. So by time management, I solve this problem, but it is hard. Yeah. It's if you are not living in a castle, then you have this problem. Yeah.
So what do you recommend for students? Because students are in a different phase from the working class. So what do you recommend for them?
For me, the headset with closed earphones is really the best thing to isolate myself from noise that could distract me. This is the best. And so also what I like very much is now, as we do it now, the face-to-face contact with my counterpart. Then I can focus, then I'm there, and this helps me.
Right. So if
Bilal,
you move
Bilal,
on, yes,
Bilal,
yes.
there's also one tool that I learned recently. It's very good to switch off the picture of yourself on the screen. Do you know why?
Why?
Then you do not use the screen as a makeup mirror. You do not correct all the time yourself. You are more focused on what is going there in the outside world. If you are talking to others, you also not take the mirror all the time and talk to yourself. So these online tools are sometimes too egocentric or too much focused on. We are so much focused on ourselves. We should look to the others.
That's good advice. Right. So
Small trick, yeah.
Small trick, yeah. So if you come to the topic for today, that is motivation. It's not an easily understood, you can say, topic to talk about. It's not something which everyone understands. And to actually make someone motivated, it's a very subjective thing. It's different from person to person, and it cannot be something which can be objectively given out, and every single person would be motivated. So if we talk about our motivation at this point, so because I'm representing SKANS Ecampus, our motivation is that for the students who are going through this process of learning how to manage their time and how to manage this concept of e-learning and how to integrate it into their lives and to actually utilize it as much as they can to improve their grades, improve their scores in the papers, and to actually excel and to go on with their professional lives, because e-learning also gives you the flexibility of location and time. Because in our particular product, it's available online. You can be anywhere. You can watch the videos at your own given time. You can perform the assignments or the assessments at any given time, whichever you have available. So the flexibility it is offering you, and we just want this thing to be integrated into the lives of people, that if you are working, if you are have other commitments, you can integrate into your life, and you can better manage your time by having this. So by having this conversation, we are trying to motivate you to accept this reality that e-learning is the new thing, and you need to get ahead of it. And if you still are not going to be, you are going to be left behind. So that is our motivation. What about you, Frank? How do you see motivation? What is your motivation for today's session? And what is this general thing about it?
Yeah. we had this talk already
Mm-hmm.
before we entered into this, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a quite tough talk.
Mm-hmm.
The question is for me, yeah, why should I do this? One motivation would be that I could talk to the students, that we are in exchange, that I learn how is the situation in Lahore, how is the situation in Jakarta, yeah. So in exchange, I would have a benefit. But you close this benefit. I have no chance to talk to your students. I'm simply talking. I see. Do not see the audience, and this is, I must say, quite demotivating. Yeah. So also, I cannot hear them. Yeah. So there is no echo. It is one-way communication. And this is, I mean, I must confess this, for me, it is difficult. Yeah. For me, I feel in these situations, I feel awful. And the only way out is, what we can do is, if there is not a technical possibility, then we enter into this world of motivation speeches that you deliver to the void, to the emptiness. And this I see very critical. I see this frequently in LinkedIn and Facebook all this time, these motivation speeches. And it is quite annoying. I mean, motivation is found in interaction. Yeah, we must search for motivation. It is not like this, that it is falling from heaven. Yeah, yeah, it is in the interaction. When I asked my oldest son about what should I do in this situation, how to motivate through the screen, he sent me a short video, a video clip. Maybe you know it. In your generation, it should be very popular. This is a motivation speech of Captain America. You know Captain America?
Yes, I do get
Yeah, okay. Captain America is delivering a motivation speech. It is at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, and it goes more or less like this. So Spider-Man appears and he says, "Hi there, I'm Captain America, and I want to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits that soldiers and students can have: patience. Sometimes patience is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little. And it seems like it is not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing." And then Captain America makes a long pause. And it seems he does not know what to say. And he is finally asking the cameraman, the operator, how many more of these things? So you see, yeah, this is, I think, what we should know about these motivation speeches. It is annoying. It is more in interaction. Yeah? So if we talk about motivation, for me, it's so important to see your face, your reaction. Are you with me? Do we understand each other? Without this, it's plastic talk.
So basically, in the next session, or in just the next I think banner I will be sharing, we'll be talking about the audience more than about motivation in general. Okay, so that would be more interesting, right? So there's another question. It's a long question. In our region, there's a huge fear of technology. From an outside perspective, do you think online is the future now for the education sector, so that students know that maybe this is a blessing in disguise? So what do you
Is
say?
it a blessing?
Online education.
Is it, or is the fear justified? It's a good question, I would say. Thank you. Very good question. I have seen in the media a lot of articles that entertain this version that this is a blessing. That it would save us in this situation. Yeah, so the narrative is, oh, everything is isolated, everybody is in quarantine, so now let's talk over the wire. It's a blessing. Yeah, it saves us. I do not see it like this. I would not call it a blessing. These are tools. Yeah, I would not allow to give these tools, these simple tools, a divine moderator. Yeah, this is not appropriate, I would say. It is a tool, nothing more, and tools are sometimes dangerous. Yeah, so it's not like this that okay, all tools can be dangerous. A knife can be dangerous, but anyway, you use it every day. Yeah. What are the dangers of this tool? They exist. They exist. And I think for us, for online teachers, it is very important. It creates a distance. You are not as close in touch as you are usually. Yeah, I can see now your face, true, but I have less impressions. It is reduced, yeah. So usually I also note the context with using my nose. I see the other small details in the room. All this is important for me to have a context. All this is missing. And this has the effect that it is more easier to be brutal. Yeah, you lose a little bit the contact with your neighbor, and then it is easier, for instance, to fire somebody. Yeah, so to fire somebody in an online talk, it's much easier. You click it off. Yeah. So that's why I would support this. The first half of the sentence from Nor, from Afaf Nor. Yes, it would be good to look at this technology, and it is not like this that fear is that there is not a reason to look at this critically. Yeah, thank you.
Right. So Afaf sends her regards. Then if we move on to another question, which is a bit different, but is similar as well. If you don't take it as a blessing, but as an opportunity. So how do you take this as an opportunity? Because the current challenges that we have, there are many things that people are saying. Some are saying it's a blessing, some are saying it's an opportunity. But how would you recognize this as an opportunity? So e-learning as an opportunity to grow more, because people who did not have time previously to actually go face-to-face in a class and to go into that whole curriculum, but now they do have the time. They can take evening classes. They can just listen to the recorded lectures, and they can enhance their studies further. So how do you look at that?
I mean, of course, there are opportunities. And we are, our flying on university is the best example. Yeah. So we were thrown into this, and at the moment we are simply running after the opportunities. Yes, the opportunities exist simply in practical terms. Yeah. More than we can use. Yeah, this is, it's true. But this is more or less, it is a practical, this is the surface of this question. Not all opportunities we should use, and you must decide which opportunities you use. So I would say there are too many opportunities, and now the question is which opportunities we should use. And I have my view on this. If you allow me, I would like to tell you.
Yes, sure.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, sure.
Okay. I personally think that this tool makes communication and direct exchange cheaper. Yeah, we are no longer, we must not travel with $2,000 until the end of the world. We have this exchange, yeah. And in this exchange, there is a chance, and I would formulate this chance like this. It would bring the problems of the periphery to the center. Before COVID-19, yeah, the world was more or less organized like this. There is this economic center in Western Europe, North America. This is how the world is centered, yeah. Maybe also Southeast Asia with Japan, China. This block very active. And the other parts of the world are the periphery. And this is where the teaching is. Yeah. So ACCA is in our world. It is a concept that was derived from the long traditions in the Western world. This is, of course, it is a tradition. It's good to know. But I would say this gives, these node tools give a little bit the chance to change the balances. I hope that we will have more scientific approaches to accounting from the periphery. This is for me the biggest chance that we have. Yeah. So this is what I hope, that e-learning will decentralize learning, teaching, and also the academic perspective.
Right.
A little bit longer answer, sorry. Yeah, but for me it's important. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's another question from Mr. Safi Khalid. So this is coming from a student perspective. Failure in exam is a huge demotivator, and with the way the world is going, exams seem to take second place. How to deal with this mindset?
I would support this. With these exams, this is not, I mean, I'm not working like this, yeah. So if somebody comes into my office and we talk, and if we understand each other, then we can work together. And really I support this. The exams are not so important for me, yeah. Sometimes they are not important at all. Yeah, so but this I can do because I have this opportunity to deal in a very personal way. If I would be head of an HR department, probably I will be forced to have parameters. Yeah. So I would see, as accountants, we should be, or as auditors, we should be always skeptical about when somebody is starting with counting and scoring. This is our profession. Yeah, we must be skeptical to the framework, how these scores must be were achieved. You know, this is a skeptical, the professional skepticism. Yeah.
Right. So there's another question, which is again from a student's perspective. If you were to take up teaching today, what's one advice you'd give to your students? Read the forward in terms of preparing for the future. So I think this is better posed as something the students who are not ready to take on this technology, or who are not still in the fright mode and they are not accepting it. So if you are taking up teaching, so if you are in the teaching or the tutor's perspective, if you are in that, so what is that one advice that you would give to the students? Whether you'd ask them to wait and let the things settle down and go back to normal, or do you want, would you like them to actually learn this technology and then excel?
I'm not sure. I listen to your interpretation, your framing of the question, and I read also the question once again.
So I think it's also about studies, and then it's also about the professional life.
Okay, I mean, one thing is clear, yeah. So we must learn and we must understand, yeah. So there is, in this respect, I would say there is no alternative. So learning is good, and especially to understand. In our profession, it's tremendously important to understand what accounting is, what accounting means for our society, how we use accounting. Accounting is it's such a great thing. So it's worth to explore this. And with this approach, I would say, with a will to knowledge, we are on the right side. Yeah, if we would like to know more, we cannot go wrong. Yeah, so even in these disturbing times, and I already said this. Yes, you can be skeptical about tools. This is not a sin. This is correct. Yeah, I also would say we should be skeptical about tools. On the other side, there is no reason to block the way. Yeah, so if there is a tool, let's look how we use it. Yeah, yeah. So this is it would be also not adequate to damn all these new tools as something that is totally a threat to our culture. Yeah.
So I think there would be like, this is a question coming from me, is that the current educationists who are in this field, who are full-time, you can say, tutors, who are struggling with this technology and this whole situation that has been created. So they want the best for their students. They want their students to actually do pass their exams and to do get good grades. So what is your counsel, what is your advice to those tutors who are really, you can say, motivated, but they are not finding the right means of motivating their students for the same?
I mean, I see this in the e-learning classes of my boy. Not all teachers are like this. First, I must say this. There are teachers who are using this new tool to distance themselves from the pupils. Yeah, so they receive their salary, okay. These classes are far away. We have no noise no longer. I'm all well off, yeah. So it is then, this is the wrong way. They use a tool sometimes to distance themselves, and this distance is really dangerous. To others are acting in a totally different way. I mean, what is really good is to enter into a dialogue with every pupil, with every student. Yeah, so that you have a contact with this person with question and answer. And usually if you enter into this dialogue, then you understand how the other side is thinking and which errors are there. Yeah. And this could be very productive. It's time consuming, but usually the result is very good. Yeah. So this individual approach, I personally love it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So this we are focusing currently right now on the student side. So as an employer perspective, so if we come back to our own conversation that we are having, so if
Mm.
we go towards that employer side where they are expecting, you can say, or we are considering the accounting profession as a whole. So if we
Yeah.
come to this part of our, you can say,
Uh,
session, that how do you see accounting and how do you see the profit motive in accounting, and then we'll link it to the e-learning, and because the businesses have changed as well, because they do not have people coming in the offices anymore, they are going to be opportunities available, so yeah, you can hire people from different countries, you can say, and because now you have this huge set of skills available online in different countries, and you can hire from different countries. So if we just focus right now on this, and then we'll move on, because the questions that are posed now, they are from more from the employer perspective, or how is the whole profession developing, and how the community or the professional community is looking at these things, and how they are adopting, and how they're looking at candidates who are well versed in this technology to be able to join their companies and to actually brighten, or you can say make them successful businesses. So first, if you look at how the profit motive in accounting, how do you see this?
mm. Bilal, this is complex question. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Um, mm. From the employer side, yeah, and this is it's. I have difficulties to answer on this question in one sentence or in one with one approach, because
Mm-hmm.
the situation on the globe is quite different. You
Mm-hmm.
have these highly mm, accumulated or highly concentrated business in Western Europe, Northern America, with a very high level of automatization. At the
Mm-hmm.
moment, we enter into a new period of automatization of accounting.
Mm-hmm.
This is usually done, the machines are running here, they are supported by teams on the Indian subcontinent, in Lahore or in
Mm-hmm.
Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
The clerical work is done in Lahore or Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the machines or the processes are maybe still located somewhere here,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
the last percentages of human work are out there in the periphery. And
Mm-hmm.
this process of automatization is
Mm-hmm.
very quick with recognizing um, documents. Yeah, so machines are reading documents. You do not longer need an accountant who is pushing a button. This is a fuel receipt. The machines know it. The whole
Mm-hmm.
circulation of documents is more and more electronic. And
Mm-hmm.
this means that on the long run, the profession will change radically.
Mm-hmm.
And many of my colleagues in the industry, let's say in the accounting industry, are in panic.
Mm-hmm.
You understand this?
Yes.
Because it is automatization. The
Mm-hmm.
machines will do the accounting. There's no longer work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at the moment, we still have a benefit in implementing these things because it is a huge work to implement these systems. But when it is implemented, then
Mm-hmm.
we can go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So this is at our end a little bit the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not fully for me, because with our specialized audit approach, we
Mm-hmm.
investigate more how when systems do not work. We investigate also electronic fraud. So we
Mm-hmm.
have work to do also in complex systems. The more complex they are, the better for us. So no problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for the bread and butter accounting, it will change the game. It looks different in the periphery. The periphery is at the moment benefiting from this process. And this will go on for 10, 15, 20 years, I suppose. Yeah, something like this. So it is not stupid to invest this in outsourcing services, in stretched services around the globe. It's not stupid. Yeah. There will be. There are coming questions in. Yeah.
Yes, coming. Yeah.
Yeah, you must interrupt me. It's difficult for me when I look at you. I have difficulties to read the lines. Yeah, okay, go on.
Okay, so there's another question which is again from the employer perspective. First, it is the education sector. Post-COVID, would you think that there would be a different world? People would invest less in offices, or you can say stuff like this. They would be more inclined to go towards the e-learning or the using the e-technology and reducing their costs, basically. Or and how would the employers expect students to be? Would they expect them to be more tech savvy? So in situations like this, if they unfortunately do come forward again, and we have to go back to this, so would they be looking at employees who are well versed in this technology? And lastly, as an employer, what are your expectations for your employees now, and how have they changed? So as you have mentioned, as you just covered that in the audit, you can say scheme of things, it is a bit different and it might have not changed. But how do you think overall in the whole world, how has it changed for accountants in particular? How much technology has now made its way up to the surface of being a really, really important thing for you to even be in this sector? So what do you think about this?
Yeah. I say it's quite clear. The last year was it was a big leap also for mankind. Yeah, I mean the step of or the stage of electronization in the whole surrounding, it is tremendous. The speed is astonishing. Yeah, so sectors that were totally offline, yeah, are now online. Yeah, the whole bureaucracies changed their way, and I mean, you must every day you deal with new platforms, you handle already so many tools on your screen. Yeah, so the best measurement is the number of screens that you have on your desk. Yeah, so 10 years ago it was 1, now it's 3. Yeah, so or 4. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So no way out with this in the education sector. The question is more focused on the education sector, is it?
The first part is an education sector, then there is about how the
Yeah,
employers are looking at things, yes.
Yeah.
Particularly for accountants and auditors and tax consultants.
Yeah. But I mean, this is at the center. I would say, if we talk about education in our profession, I would await that the big chance is to change the profession. Yeah, so it will be not so Eurocentric. It will be a different style. Yeah, and it's certainly good.
Right. So there's another question from Basma here. I want to know how flexible and understanding are employers to students who are unsuccessful in their ACCA exams with the current situation. So this can work for ACCA students or for any other qualification. So how are the employers responding to the people still adopting to this technology, and how are they coping with the people who are coming
mm,
in, who are just applying. And we know
mm,
that the accounting as all the profession in the world, they have declined. So
mm,
more employers are not really hiring these days anymore even. So how do you think
mm,
that they are going to take this year,
mm,
which has just passed, and even the
mm,
current times and their perspective of hiring?
mm, mm. Naja, I mean, it's quite clear. Yeah, an exam is an exam, and then you have the paper, and you can show it, and it is verifiable. So this is an asset. Yeah, so no question. And
Mhm,
you cannot discuss this away.
mhm,
It
mhm,
is unfortunately it is like this.
mhm,
But recently, I had also I took part in an assessment with several candidates. An organization, international organization, was searching for an internal auditor, and
mhm,
the
mhm,
exigation, the requirement was it should be an ACCA examinee, yeah, with an ACCA exam.
mhm,
But then it
mhm,
turned out that all ACCA candidates had not the required language skills.
mhm, mhm,
And the
mhm,
one without a successful exam, but with the required language skills, made it because he could demonstrate that he knows accounting inside out. So in these lucky situations, it might happen. But anyway,
mhm,
I mean, if you can do it, the exam is it's an asset. Yeah, we should
mhm,
not throw it away.
mhm, mhm, mhm. True. So I think we have touched the 45-minute mark. So we just,
Okay.
yes, so we'll just be going to the last bit of generic, you can say, discussion that how, as a profession, the accounting, as you see it, and especially in the current times of what is happening, how it has become more important to society overall, and how people have come to know that this is a really important thing that we should be looking at. So
Mm.
because the Flying Accounting University, as you said, that it takes accounting as a social science, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
this would be perfect coming from you. That how do you look
Ah,
at
okay.
the importance of accounting to society,
Mm.
and then we will move on to
Mm.
conclude the session. Okay.
Mm. Okay, okay.
Mhm,
How much time
mhm.
do I have?
You have we are over time, so yeah.
So very short, probably.
Very sharp. Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Mm. Naja, it probably this is more a discussion that is starting here in Germany. It is already very vivid. The
Mhm,
question is, should we, after COVID-19, return to normal?
mhm,
Or should we do things different?
mhm,
And for the first time in my lifetime, now on the scene is something like, should we do everything to return to a growth path? And this
mhm,
discussion is now open. It's now open. I heard
mhm,
it for the first time in 1972 when I was a boy of 11 years, and we had this famous book, the Limits of Growth,
mhm,
1972, of the Club of Rome. For
mhm,
my whole lifetime, I was convinced it cannot be endless that the economic parameters are growing.
mhm,
But
mhm,
this was a minority opinion. The
mhm,
majority was saying, no, we must have growth. Without growth, there is no motivation, zero
mhm,
motivation, the world will stay still. My
mhm,
position was, no, this is not like this. There are
mhm,
also other motives to do accounting, not
mhm,
only the profit motive.
mhm,
They
mhm,
exist, they are only
mhm,
forgotten. So now
mhm,
it's a good chance to come back to this and to
mhm,
remember that there are also other motives.
mhm,
If there would be only the profit motive, if it
mhm,
is like this, and if we enter into a world where no profit and no growth is possible,
mhm,
then the only alternative would be that we enter into a world of barbarian fights, one against each other, And this is certainly not what I would like to have and what I do not want to have for my children. That's why I would say it is our duty as accountants to look at the non-profit side of accounting and to develop it. Thank you.
Right. So we have come to the conclusion, and so
it was already a conclusion, isn't it?
it was almost a conclusion. So just some tips of advice you would like to say to the students, prospective students, the current students, and the students who have graduated or students who have cleared their exams and now they are in the profession. So what is that one thing that you would like to add on to this whole conversation that we had? Like, we had an amazing audience and we had some great questions coming in, and there was interaction. I know you said in a bit that it was not interactive, but people were giving their thanks as well, and they were giving their remarks that thank you for answering the question. So many of them were just saying that we are just enjoying the session and we're just here listening to you and just trying to absorb everything that you are giving, so impactful, right? So what would you say to the prospective students, the current students, and the students who have graduated, who are looking for a job or possibly are already doing job? So what is your advice to them?
I want to talk about the most valuable traits that soldiers and students can have. Patience. Sometimes patience is a key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little. So I would ask for patience. Motivation is a thing that you must search. You must search it. It is not delivered through a video. You must search it. So the best thing is to look a little bit, look into oneself. Then we will find a motivation to go on. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Frank. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you to all the audience who were great interactive. I'm sorry I was not able to have all the remarks on the screen. I did try to take all the questions on the screen. So I thank you all for your time. And thank you, Frank, again, for giving us the pleasure of having this session organized. And it was an opportunity which was delivered to us through these times that we are able to have this session. And we hope to continue them in the future as well, not because of the circumstances, but just because of the knowledge that we can share in different regions of the world. And this shared knowledge will benefit every single person who is going to listen to this afterwards and who was a part of it today. So thank you all for joining us today. And I'm Bilal Siddiqui signing out. Thank you.
Thank you, Bilal. Thank you.
Thank you.